Do you ever feel like you're just floating through life, like a leaf caught in the wind, moving, but never really getting anywhere? You set intentions. You dream. You imagine the version of yourself you wish existed. And every year, right around New Year's, you make promises to yourself. This time will be different. This time, I will finally change. You imagine breaking free from the habits that hold you back. You see yourself creating routines that make you stronger, smarter, better. You even convince yourself, this is it. This is the year I become the person I've always wanted to be. And yet, weeks later, you find yourself right back where you started. The energy fades. Motivation collapses. Old patterns creep back in. The bad habits, the distractions, the tiny compromises, they have a sneaky way of pulling you back into the life you swore you'd leave behind. You're left asking yourself, why is change so hard? Why does it feel impossible to become the person I dream of? That's where Atomic Habits by James Clear comes in. This isn't just another self-help book. It's a roadmap, a guide to rewiring your mind, reshaping your environment, and mastering the tiny, invisible forces that control your behavior. In this video, we'll break down everything the habit loops, dopamine spikes, environmental priming, and identity shifts, so you can start building a life that doesn't just feel different, but actually is. Stick around until the end, and I'll show you how I applied these principles to my own life, transforming small routines into massive results. This is the blueprint for real, lasting change. Let's dive in. Imagine a plane taking off from New York, bound for Los Angeles. Just before liftoff, the pilot nudges the controls ever so slightly, only 3 degrees. Barely noticeable. It seems insignificant. But as the plane soars thousands of miles, that tiny adjustment compounds. By the time it reaches the West Coast, it doesn't land in Los Angeles at all. It veers off into Tijuana, Mexico. A small, almost invisible change at the start created a completely different ending. This is exactly what habits do to our lives. The decisions you make every single day, what you eat, what you read, how you spend your time appear small and irrelevant at the moment. But those tiny actions, repeated over weeks, months, and years, accumulate, shifting your entire trajectory. The trajectory of your career, your health, your relationships, your identity. Most of us chase dramatic transformations. We imagine massive leaps, suddenly exercising for 2 hours every day, writing a novel in a month, or learning a language fluently in weeks. But that's not how real change works. Real change doesn't scream, it whispers. It shows up in the 1% improvements you make every day. The extra glass of water, the 1 page you read, the 5 minutes of stretching before bed. Tiny, atomic adjustments that, over time, compound into results so powerful they seem like magic, but it's not magic. It's math. And the math is in your favor if you start small. Start today, and stay consistent. Here's the cruel truth about progress. We expect it to be linear. You start something new, a habit, a project, a personal goal, and you imagine a smooth upward curve. You picture yourself getting stronger, smarter, better every single day. But that's not reality. In reality, progress is jagged, messy, invisible at first. James Clear calls this frustrating phase the valley of disappointment. You've put in the hours, you've shown up consistently, and yet, you can't see any results. The scale doesn't budge. Your writing doesn't feel sharper. Your productivity doesn't spike. Most people quit here. Most people assume it isn't working. They slip back into old routines, telling themselves they've failed. The most powerful outcomes, the kind that transform lives, are delayed. They compound quietly, invisibly, until suddenly, months or years later, you look back and realize your life has shifted in ways you couldn't have predicted. That's the magic of habits, and it's also the reason most people fail. Patience is hard. Immediate results are seductive, but lasting transformation requires playing the long game. You need to trust the process, even when nothing seems to be happening. Because the small actions you take to the habits you anchor now are the ones that will define your future. Most of us are obsessed with goals. Lose weight, get fit, write a book, launch a business. We think that if we just set the right goal, success will follow. But James Clear flips this idea on its head. Goals are the destination, but systems are the vehicle. Without the right vehicle, the destination is irrelevant. You can want something desperately, but without a system to get you there, it remains a dream. Think about it. Successful and unsuccessful people often share the same goals. What separates them isn't desire. It's the system, the daily routines and behaviors that steadily compound into progress. A goal is a moment in time. Achieve it, and the motivation often evaporates. You run a marathon, and then what? Motivation fades, habits fade, and you slip back into your old patterns. Systems, on the other hand, are relentless. They keep you moving, even when motivation fails. Here's the secret. Focus on the person you want to become, not the results you want to achieve. Don't aim to read a book. Aim to become a reader. Don't aim to run a marathon. Aim to become a runner. The identity shift is subtle but transformative. When your habits are tied to who you are, they happen naturally. You don't force yourself. You show up because it's part of your identity. This is the difference between temporary change and lifelong transformation. The system you build becomes the invisible architecture of your future, shaping the person you'll be, step by step, habit by habit. Habits aren't magic, they're loops. Craving, response, reward. Understanding this loop is the key to mastering behavior. The cue is the trigger, the signal that sets your habit in motion. It could be a sound, a sight, a location, a feeling, anything that sparks action. The craving is your brain saying, I want this reward. The response is the behavior you take, and the reward. That's what your brain uses to reinforce the habit. Here's the problem. Most bad habits are invisible until they've taken control. A phone buzz during work triggers a craving. You pick it up, scroll for 5 minutes, feel momentarily satisfied, but the reward is short-lived. The loop, invisible. Over time, these small loops compound into hours lost, attention stolen, and potential wasted. Good habits work the same way. The more we understand how cues and rewards drive behavior, the more we can engineer our environment to favor the habits we want and frustrate the ones we don't. James Clear introduces the 4 laws of behavior change. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, make it satisfying. Each law is designed to manipulate the habit loop in your favor. Make the cue obvious, the reward satisfying, and the action easy, and your brain will naturally follow. Master these laws, and you stop relying on willpower or motivation. You start designing your life at the atomic level, one habit at a time. The first law of behavior change is deceptively simple. Make it obvious. Yet, how many of us are blind to our own habits? Most of what we do each day is so automatic that we don't even notice. James Clear calls this the unconscious guiding your life. Until you shine a light on your habits, they will continue to run the show. This is where the habit scorecard comes in. Write down every action you take from the moment you wake up to when you sleep. No judgment, just observation. Identify which habits are positive, negative, or neutral. Suddenly, patterns emerge. That 30 minutes of mindless scrolling in the morning isn't harmless. It's a loop you can now see and influence. Once you've identified habits, clarity is key. One day, I'll get fit as a dream. I will do 15 push-ups at 6:30 a.m. in my living room is actionable. Time, place, and specificity turn vague intentions into real actions. Want to make a habit stick? Make it irresistible. Your brain craves pleasure and anticipates rewards. This isn't just about the reward itself, but the excitement leading up to it. So, how do we use this? Try temptation, bundling, pair something you love with a habit you need to build. Watch your favorite show only while you're on the treadmill. Listen to that amazing podcast only when you're cleaning. Suddenly, your brain starts looking forward to the task. And don't forget the power of your social circle. We naturally imitate the people around us. Want to get fit? Hang out with active friends. Want to read more? Join a book club. Your environment shapes your desires. Next, make it easy. The brain is lazy. It loves the path of least resistance. Reduce the friction for good habits. Want to read in the morning? Put a book on your pillow. Want to work out? Lay out your clothes the night before and use the 2-minute rule. Just start for 2 minutes. Put on your running shoes, read one page. The momentum will build itself. Small, easy actions are the secret. Thanks for watching. The 4th law is the secret weapon of behavior change. Make it satisfying. Our brains are wired to repeat actions that feel good. Pleasure isn't just indulgence, it's feedback. It tells your brain, do this again. Without satisfaction, even the most obvious, attractive, and easy habits will fade into the background. The challenge is that good habits often have delayed rewards, while bad habits give instant gratification. Eating a cookie feels amazing now, but the benefit of running a mile, not so immediate. This mismatch is where most people fail. The trick is to create immediate satisfaction for good habits. Track your progress, visually mobile marble, cross off a calendar, log your pages. Every small win becomes a dopamine spike, a mini celebration that reinforces your behavior. Accountability amplifies satisfaction. Knowing someone is watching your progress or that failure carries consequences turns abstract effort into a tangible gain. Miss a workout? Hold these dollars, hit your target, feel pride and respect. Your brain craves that sense of accomplishment. This law completes the habit loop. Cue, craving, response, reward. By making habits satisfying, you seal the feedback loop, ensuring the behavior repeats naturally. Over time, these micro moments of satisfaction compound, building unstoppable momentum. Atomic habits are not about drastic transformations. They're about creating daily victories that feel good enough to repeat. The small joys of progress are what shape extraordinary lives. Reading about habits is one thing, applying them is another level entirely. I transformed my routines using atomic habits, building systems rather than chasing vague goals. My first target: consistent workouts. Step 1: clarity. I used the habit scorecard to understand my patterns and identify triggers. Step 2: cues. I laid out my dumbbells and yoga mat, turning my living room into a fitness stage. Step 3: temptation bundling. Podcasts became the reward. Workouts became the ritual I looked forward to. I anchored my habit using the 2-minute rule. No pressure, just show up. Put on my shoes, stretch for 2 minutes. Surprisingly, motivation came after I began, not before. Each completed workout reinforced my identity. I am someone who exercises consistently. Reading became another victory. Coffee on the balcony triggered 90 minutes of focused reading, 1 page at a time. The habit compounded, creating knowledge and reflection without resistance. Eliminating bad habits was just as strategic. I hid my phone, deleted distracting apps, and set up accountability with my partner. Every time I slipped, there was an immediate consequence. My environment, mindset, and systems were aligned for success, proving James Clear's principle. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your systems. Atomic Habits is more than a book, it's a blueprint for transformation. Life doesn't reward giant leaps. It rewards tiny, consistent actions. Each small choice compounds, pushing you closer or further from the person you aspire to become. Success isn't magic, talent, or willpower. It's the invisible architecture of your habits, your environment, and your identity. By making habits obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying, you design a life where doing the right thing becomes inevitable. You stop relying on motivation, which is fleeting, and start leaning on systems, which are unstoppable. You don't chase the results. You become the person whose habits naturally produce those results. Change isn't dramatic at first. It hides in the background, subtle and silent, until years later when you look back and realize, this is who I've become. That's the power of atomic habits. You don't need massive willpower. You need a system, consistency, and patience. So start today. Identify one small habit, stack it onto an existing routine, make it satisfying, and watch the chain reaction unfold. Over time, these tiny victories accumulate into life-altering results. Your future self ISN, T-shaped by a single heroic effort, S-shaped by 1% improvements, day after day. Atomic habits don't just change what you do, they change who you are.